It is a criminal offense to refuse to comply with a saliva test demand, and this can happen in one of two ways. The first way involves an outright refusal, where you say, "I'm not going to take the saliva test." In those circumstances, the police are entitled to charge you with refusing. The other way that it can happen is if you put conditions on your compliance or you obfuscate with the test. You contaminate the sample, you drop the stick with the swab on it deliberately, you do all sorts of things to obstruct the taking of the test or to delay the taking of the test. And in those circumstances, this is what's known as an equivocal refusal. If the prosecution can prove that you were doing this deliberately, then you can end up charged and convicted with refusing to comply with the saliva test. This poses interesting problems, the reason being that saliva tests are, in their very nature, the least sanitary of any type of roadside testing. You are inserting a swab that has been handled by a police officer directly into your mouth, and then taking that swab out of your mouth and handing it back to the police officer, who then inserts it into a device at the roadside. This obviously raises significant health and safety concerns, and as of yet, those concerns have not been litigated in our courts as to whether or not they represent a reasonable basis or a reasonable excuse for refusing to take the test. In those circumstances, a person may, if there were something that could have compromised their health and safety, have an excuse to take a test. But it's not a reason to outright refuse to take the test if you're concerned about your health and safety without more knowledge in this area. And so, unfortunately, right now, the best advice that any lawyer can give you is to comply with the test and to take the saliva test, even if it seems as though it might be unsafe or unsanitary to do so. Because the risks of a refusal charge and the unknown factor of whether or not an unsanitary test gives you a basis to refuse and excuses your refusal in law is absolutely not certain.